Now at 5, 2 years after a mother and daughter are shot and killed, advocates continue to demand systemic change.
The systems in 2 jurisdictions failed.
Plus, after a recent spike in homicides in Portland, we go beyond the statistics and hear from people who lost a neighbor and a friend to gun violence. And rallies across the country are growing as postal workers and their supporters denounce looming cuts.
The only person that they see throughout the week is the letter carrier.
And thanks so much for joining us here at 5. I'm John Adams. Our top story this evening, it's been 2 years since the bodies of a Vancouver mom and her young daughter were found shot to death near Washougal. Michelle Melendez and her 7-year-old daughter Layla Stewart were killed by Kirkland Warren, who was serving life in prison, but some say the violence against them could have been prevented. Devin Haskins joins us live from the newsroom with more. And Devin, you spoke with a friend and a victim's advocate about this case and the pain still felt 2 years later.
Yeah, that's right, John. We met at their gravesite today up in Vancouver. Friends and advocates of the 2 victims question how this happened and why Washington law to protect domestic violence victims wasn't enforced. At Evergreen Memorial Gardens in Vancouver, balloons and flowers cover the graves of Michelle Melendez and her 7-year-old daughter, Layla Stewart.
They're just missed so much.
It's been 2 years this weekend, March 22nd, 2023, since their lives were taken.
Just full of life. Yeah, they were fun to be around.
The mother and daughter were found shot to death alongside a rural road near Washougal. The 2 had been missing for several days. Melendez's ex-boyfriend, Kirkland Warren, was ultimately arrested, charged, and pled guilty to their murders. In October, he was sentenced to life in prison.
He should have had an electronic ankle monitor on. He should have been watched. 2 years.
Michelle Warren, president of the National Women's Coalition Against Violence and Exploitation, says Warren should never have been free in the first place. Just days before their disappearance, in a separate incident, he was arrested for shooting and threatening Michelle. Despite being labeled a threat, he was released without an ankle monitor, even though at the time he was also out on bail for a 2017 murder charge in Arkansas, something Michelle Bart considers a failure of justice.
Everyone says closure and justice. There will never be closure or justice because the systems in 2 jurisdictions failed. Not only these 2, but a man in Arkansas.
2 years later, family and advocates still searching for answers.
We still are seeking answers to why he did not have the ankle monitor on.
Washington already has laws designed to prevent tragedies like this. The Tiffany Hill Act, passed in 2020, allows courts to order GPS ankle monitors for people accused of domestic violence. Those devices can alert victims and police when an offender is nearby.
If there's laws on the books, we need to use those laws. Otherwise, why do we have them?
As these questions remain unanswered, friends and loved ones continue to grieve.
I just still remember the knock, the cry of Nicole when they told her that they would not be coming back. Advocates say the big issue is fixing this system that they say failed Michelle and Layla. They're pushing for stronger domestic violence laws and making sure the ones we already have actually get enforced. Back to you.
All right, Devin, thank you so much. Well, last night, neighbors of the woman shot and killed in the Centennial neighborhood this week held a vigil to remember her life. It follows an increase in homicides this month, but each death is more than a number. People we spoke to say at the vigil say 45-year-old Brianne Pardue was a fantastic mother and a great friend.
In Portland's Centennial neighborhood, stories were told and tears were shed as friends remembered a member of their community gone too soon.
She was amazing. She was freaking amazing. That woman could do anything.
45-year-old Brianne Pardue died early Monday morning after being shot and killed near Southeast 140th and Harrison. People who knew her say she would do anything for someone in need.
She would give you the last $5 she had in her pocket, or the jacket off of her back if she knew that you needed it more than her.
35-year-old Joshua Thielbar was arrested in connection to Pardue's death. He's been charged with second-degree murder.
She didn't deserve to go like she did. She didn't deserve to die in the hands of a monster who had absolutely no control of his own emotion.
Pardue is one of 7 Portlanders who have lost their lives in homicides in the month of March. On Friday, Portland Police Chief Bob Day said the spike in homicides touches the entire city.
This is something that impacts all of us. As I said, it's unacceptable.
Pardue's neighbors say her spirit is still felt in this tight-knit community, and the memories she left behind won't soon be forgotten.
I think that was more important to me than anything was the fact that she's one of the best moms I've ever met in my life.
Well, turning now to weather and taking a look from our Rose City Sky Cam. It's been a cloudy Sunday with light showers sprinkled in throughout the day, but it sounds like we may have some much better times ahead, according to Celine Stevens, who's joining us right now. And Celine, are those 70s still on the way?
Most definitely. I'm still promising those 70s for Tuesday. We're going to have a really good day then. As for right now, obviously, we're dealing with the clouds. That rain started up a little bit around 4 o'clock and looks like it's stopped now. We're seeing that drizzle for around an hour or so. We're sitting at 61 degrees, a little breezy, winds going at 10 miles per hour right now. But you'll see on our radar again that rain was moving through our area. We had a couple hours of dryness really from around noon till around 3-4. Then the showers moved through the area again, and now it looks like it's really started to die down. And as we get into the rest of our evening, rain really shouldn't continue to be an issue. We still are dealing with that avalanche warning for the mountain areas, so Mount Hood, those other areas as well. That's going to expire in about an hour and a half. And so looking at temperatures across the map right now, it's 60 degrees in Aurora, 60 in Vancouver, 59 in McMinnville. Along the coast, we're looking at more 50s, looks like 52 in Newport. And temperatures already trending up. We're seeing temperatures 5 degrees warmer right now than this time yesterday, 5 in Vancouver, and other areas seeing temperatures way warmer than this time yesterday. It looks like 12 degrees warmer right now in Eugene than yesterday. And so here's what we see tomorrow. Tomorrow we get up to the 60s. We do have a chance of some morning showers sitting at 52 degrees. By noon we should dry up, upper 50s, and then by 5 p.m. sitting in the upper 60s. And then Tuesday, that's when we get to see the 70s. We'll talk all about that and more in a bit. John?
All right, Celine, we'll see you later in the show. Thank you. Thousands of people across the country are participating in rallies outside of their local post offices. It comes after the United States Post Service postmaster announced thousands of jobs will be cut in the coming weeks, and there will be major changes within the agency with the help from DOGE. In Washington, there were protests in Everett, Tacoma, Olympia, and Seattle. The National Association of Letter Carriers, the union representing postal workers, is spearheading these types of rallies across the country, including 9 throughout Washington. The biggest concern from many are plans to cut 10,000 workers by mid-April.
They're wondering, do I have a job going here in the next few weeks or months or whatever?
Well, he believes it's not only a threat for their jobs, but to communities nationwide. He warns it could lead to service delays or days of no service. In Idaho, dozens of people rallied at the state capitol building today, also in support of the Postal Service. People gathered to express their concern about potential job cuts and privatization. They say the Postal Service is something a lot of people still rely on.
In the United States, especially in rural America, like we have here in Idaho, we have a lot of people here in Idaho that the only person that they see throughout the week is the letter carrier, and they're going to be taking that ability away.
As a disabled voter and American, I get my medicine through the mail like a lot of Americans do, and to have it be privatized or disbanded for money means that my costs are going to go up, and as a disabled American, I then no longer could afford my medications.
The Postmaster General is focusing on what he calls the mismanagement of USPS's retirement assets and its workers' compensation program, along with addressing regulatory requirements that he describes as restricting normal business practice. In consumer news, Oregon lawmakers are trying to pass a bill that seeks greater transparency when it comes to gasoline pricing. House Bill 3647 would require gas stations to display prices on signs that are visible from the street and at each pump. Proponents of the bill say this would protect people from predatory business practices, especially with rising costs in other sectors.
When gas prices are visible and transparent, consumers can compare costs, shop around for prices, and choose what's best for them, and understand what it is that they're paying for before arriving at the pump.
A lobbyist for the Oregon Fuels Association testified against the bill, arguing this is targeting a specific gas station in Woodburn. We'll keep you posted on any further developments. Well, check out this video of a river rescue that happened yesterday along Highway 20. The Sweet Home Fire District says the vehicle fell about 30 feet near the Yucwa campground. It hit a tree before falling into the river when water started rushing in. 2 off-duty firefighters rushed in to help the driver out of the car and onto shore. They were taken to the hospital with those firefighters credited for potentially saving her life.